So we'll get started in a comfortable sitting position. You could sit on a yoga block to help elevate the pelvis. If you have difficulty flexing the knee joints, this is a really great way to practice sitting. Bring the knees out to the sides, one foot in front of the other. And this pose is called Sadasana, a Sanskrit word that translates in English to adept's pose. And it's said that when mastery in this pose is achieved, all other poses are useless. I thought that was a really interesting scripture from the 14th centuries. So the emphasis is that it's really a breathing practice, and we're using this practice to cultivate the ability to sit for meditation or to be in the body where the body becomes less of a distraction. And what's kind of interesting in the West, I think in a lot of yoga culture, the body is way more of a distraction than it needs to be, and it becomes a bit of an obstacle on the path. So the idea in Hatha yoga is that we just take care of it so it's not causing us so much trouble, and then we can focus the mind more on whatever it is that we're trying to become deeply absorbed in, whether it's music, love, good food, breathing, whatever that might be. So we'll start with breathing today. Rest your hands over your lap and take a few moments to roll your shoulders up and back, and just noticing how that movement affects the feeling in the rest of your spine. And then as the shoulders loop up and then back, think of lifting the rib cage. And then allow your shoulders to soften down the back while keeping a lift of the heart. Think of lengthening up through the crown of the head. And then be aware of how the lower back and the pelvis are feeling. One thing to be on the lookout for, as the heart lifts, it's really common to perch forward, flexing into the hip and overarching in the low back. And this is partly from a culture where we sit too much. So we want to think of tipping the pelvis back, slight posterior tilt towards a neutral position. Just enough that the hip flexors can soften a little and that the lower back can soften. And then closing your eyes, bring awareness to your breath. Start to slow the exhale breath. And then from the emptiness, soften the belly and let the inhale slowly flow through you. To make the exhale longer, you can do a few things. Keep the tongue behind the top teeth and create the feeling of a very gentle whisper. The feeling of an actual whisper is a little bit too harsh, so it's more mellow than that. We're looking for like a really sort of moist, enjoyable feeling in the back of the throat. And then this first breathing technique we'll do today is called Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. In Sanskrit, the nadis refer to the energy channels, and it's said that there's 72,000. We only care about 3 of them, the moon channel, the sun channel, and the central channel. And the idea is that one nostril is generally always more dominant than the other. Throughout the day, the nasal cycle changes every hour and a half or so. But we can actually control that flow with this technique. So it flows quite evenly through both, which is said to be symptomatic of the energy flowing really smoothly up the central channel. So your chakras are like totally aligned. I'm just kidding about that part. But actually, I'm not kidding. That's part of the traditional philosophy as well. So we'll take the right hand up and bring your index finger and middle finger into the palm of the hand. And then take the thumb over the right nostril and very gently pull the skin down so the nostril's fully closed. And then the little finger and ring finger very gently touch the left nostril so it's closed but only halfway. Now breathe in through your left nostril to the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Closing left, half open the right nostril. Exhale through the right. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right side, inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. Left side, exhale. Empty. Soften the belly. Left side, inhale. And then holding the breath, switch sides. Right side, exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right side, inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left side, exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left side, inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we switch sides for the exhale. So right side, exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay there. Right side, inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Holding at the top. And then switching sides, last one. Left side, exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll finish in the middle channel, so both nostrils just barely open. Inhale both as slowly as possible. Hold the breath. Bring your hands over your lap. With Ujjayi breathing, the soft whisper, take your longest possible exhale. And softening the belly, take a slow inhalation. Just a little bit of tone below the navel to help the tailbone drop, to anchor through the middle of the sit bones. And slow exhale. And with the eyes closed, take a few slow breaths at your own pace. Think of drawing in a little bit of air over a long period of time. And then opening the eyes, bring the backs of the hands together. We'll make some little circles with the wrists. Going one direction, about halfway, and then the other direction. And then take the hands forward, moving into table position. Camera 1. So hands are underneath the shoulders, knees below the hips. Spread your fingers wide apart, and with your shoulders over your wrists, explore lifting the heel of the palm and then slowly bring it back down. Lift the heel of the palm and bring it back down. Do about 10 of those, nice and slow. If it's too intense being forward, then sit back towards the heels a little bit more. This puts less weight through the wrist. The more forward you go, the harder it's going to be. The more it challenges the mobility of the wrist joint, which refers to not just flexibility, but the strength to support that flexibility. And that's really the main idea in Hatha yoga that separates it from other practices like yin yoga, trying to balance out the strength and flexibility, just so the body isn't giving us too many problems. And if the body does give us problems, then we work with the mind just to experience those problems without being too attached to them. Good. Now from table position, walk your hands further forward as far as you can. And then spread your fingers. Think of scrubbing the hands away from each other. And notice how as you do that, that broadens across the collarbones, externally rotating the shoulder. From there, start to draw the hips back away from the hands. Engage through the abdominal core and take some slow breath. Contracting the abdomen as you're breathing in. So this challenges the work of the diaphragm, which is the engine of respiration. In a lot of older books, it's described as a belly bulger, but it's since been known that the diaphragm can cause expansions in the rib cage. The back of the diaphragm expands the most. It can also get movement laterally out to the sides as the abdominal core gets more involved with supporting the spine. So just notice what there is to notice. It helps to imagine a golden light in the middle of the body, radiating out with each inhale. From the heart outwards through the ribs and the belly. A few more breaths. And then inhale, lift the head. Walk your hands back towards your knees, coming into a toe squat. Sit onto the back of the heels. Camera 2. Camera 2. Good. From there, little wrist stretches again. If this is too much for your knees, there is the option to come forward into more of a camel position instead. And then return to table position. Fingers spreading wide. Shoulders over the wrists. And this time we'll play with keeping the upper palm rooted. As you inhale, come forward, taking your shoulders as far past the wrists as you're comfortable, strong in the abdominals. As you exhale, move from the core, sitting back towards the heels. Feet could be pointed, or you can have your toes tucked under, your choice. Inhale forward, see how far you can go. Let the pelvis drop a little. Exhale, using your core, slowly sit back. And continue. Inhale, slowly come forwards. Camera 1. Exhale from the core, slowly go back. A few more vinyasas. Camera 1. Now, next time you come forward, shoulders over the wrists. As you exhale, press your hands towards your hips. Slowly bend the elbows. Pelvis to the floor. Inhale, pushing up with a strong core, just like you did earlier. Again, exhale, bend the arms, slowly coming down. Inhale, pressing up, spread the shoulder blades apart. Exhale, slight retraction of the shoulder blades, bend the elbows. And continue. So what you may notice is that my elbows are slightly off my rib cage. Not like way out, but just a little bit out. So the arm bone goes back about 45 degrees from the midline. And then part of the ability to do that is from sending the heart forward. So if you find your shoulders are going way out, you may have to bring the hands a little bit further back by the hips. A few more vinyasas. If your wrist gets sore, that's a sign that your hands could go in the other direction, further forward instead. On your last one, come down really slow. Take a few breaths. Easy does it. Ooh. And then come into Sphinx Pose, bringing your elbows a little bit forward of the shoulders. Let's do this first variation with the palms facing each other. This emphasizes external rotation in the shoulder, this idea of broadening across the collarbones. As you exhale, relax the effort, letting the heart melt down. On the inhale, pull back, retracting the scapula, Lift the heart, and then the chin. Exhale, slowly lower. Shoulder blades naturally come closer. Inhale, pull back. Push through the edge of the hand. Lift the heart. Exhale, slowly lower. We're going to hold this next one. Inhale, lift the heart. The head is the last thing to come up. Gaze down the nose and hold the posture. Imagine the hands are stuck to the floor, yet we're still pulling them in towards the hips. You can lift your elbows a little bit as well. And then notice the feeling of the belly expanding against the floor. So just like the abdominals help stabilize or engage in the front of the spine, creating movement elsewhere, right now the floor is there, preventing the belly from expanding too much, and so the breath is forced into other areas of your spine. Maybe you can feel the sides of the belly, sides of the ribs expanding. Maybe you feel the triceps working and getting kind of tired. That's good. Exhale all the way down. And then bring your hands back to where your elbows were. So, variation of Cobra pose, same principles. Lift the shoulders away from the floor. We're going to lift the shins off the ground as well for this one. As you inhale, pull back. Keep the pelvis on the ground. As you exhale, come down slow. Moving from the shoulder heads, pull with the inhale. Exhale, lower. Lift the shoulders away from the floor and then pull back on the inhale. So we're training the thoracic spine to get more involved, opening the rib cage. In traditional yoga, this is called Uddiyana Bandha, the upward flying energy flow. And hold the next one. Squeeze your heels together. You can have the knees apart. And see if you can feel the buttocks contracting to lift the knees a bit. Maybe you feel the upper back still working. Keep pulling back with your hands. Maybe the back of the arms are getting tired. Exhale all the way down. And then push back, sitting onto your heels in puppy stretch. Engage the core. Walk the hands further forward again. So we won't quite sit all the way back to the heels, but we can intend in that direction while walking the hands forward. And then we'll hang out, engaging the abdominal core. Bow the forehead towards the earth and breathe. If it feels good, you can explore mobilizing the shoulder blades against the back of the rib cage. Going onto the tips of the fingers, try lifting the palms. And with the arms straight, try lifting the arms away from the floor. So this may bring the shoulder blades a little bit closer together. You can also play with letting the shoulder blades lift to the ears. All the while pulling the hands towards the hips. And then slowly come up to table position. So from table pose, bring the big toes to touch, knees apart. And with an inhale, open the right arm out to the side, open the chest. On the exhale, thread the needle, reaching underneath the left arm. And repeat. Inhale, reaching the right arm up, open your chest. Exhale, thread the needle, spreading the right shoulder blade out. Camera 2. Inhale, reach the right arm up, open chest. Exhale, threading the needle. Again, inhale, reaching the right arm up. Exhale, thread the needle, and hold the posture, reaching way out to that left side. You can lean in towards your right shoulder a bit more, and then activate that right shoulder, pressing the back of the hand to the floor. Left fingers can stay there for support, or reach the left arm up, opening the chest. And breathe there. And exhale, look down, lower the left hand. Inhale, right arm up to the sky, open your chest, and then make some big circles in the shoulder, reaching back by the hip and forwards beyond the ear. If you like more of a challenge, try to keep your hand just underneath your left shoulder. So there's more weight bearing through the wrist, more work for the shoulder. On your next exhale, take the right hand down and we'll switch sides. Inhale, left arm out to the side, open your chest. Exhale, thread the needle, reaching underneath that right arm. Inhale, left arm up, open chest. And exhale, threading through. Camera 1. Inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, thread through. And last one. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, thread through, and hold the posture, sliding that left hand way over to the right. And breathe. Engage into the abdominal core, especially on the left side, and then activate that left shoulder, gently pressing the back of the hand into the ground. From there, option to go into right fingertips or lift the right arm up to the sky. Try to stay with the breath. Next exhale, take the right hand down. Inhale, left arm up to the sky. And then make some big circles, reaching forwards by the ear, back by the hip. Feel free to change directions. Works a little bit better to reach towards the floor and then forward. You're just more likely to get external rotation of the shoulder in that movement. A few more vinyasas. And next exhale, lower that left hand. Fingers spreading wide, tuck your toes under. And then we'll engage the core, lift the pubic bone, and hover your knees off of the floor. Downward facing frog. Not to be confused with downward dog, totally different. Move the hips side to side, keeping the heels raised. Turn the feet towards the left, bringing the hips to the right. And vice versa. Turn the feet to the right, hips to the left. Inviting a nice stretch through the sides of the spine, one side at a time. And as you go to the side, you can bend your knees even more, sending the buttocks towards the heels. And then come back to the center. As you continue bending your knees, walk your hands towards your feet for ragdoll. And we'll hold on to opposite elbows, hang loose, holding, and sway from side to side. Let your torso hang loose. Feel free to close your eyes, draw the attention in. And from ragdoll, let go of the elbows. Tuck your chin in, bend your knees. With a long exhale, connect with the core. On a slow inhale, start to roll up through the vertebra, coming all the way up to standing. And then we'll meet at the front of the mat in mountain pose. So you can step forward there. Take your feet about hip width apart. With an inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, bend your knees, sticking the buttocks out. Inhale, rise up, contracting the buttocks. And repeat. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale up to standing. And a few more to go at your own pace. Stay strong in the core. So one thing that we want to avoid is hiding the tail. That prevents the glutes from working. We also want to avoid sticking the butt out too much. So we're trying to find that happy medium in the middle. connecting to the core and glutes. Last one. Good. And then come back to standing, arms at sides. Now play with the weight transfer through the feet. Lean over your left leg. Notice how it becomes more weight-bearing. And then lean over your right leg. Bend your knees a little bit as you go side to side. One leg and then the other. Now we'll lean into that right foot. Pick up your left foot and make some circles in the hip joint. Tiger on the loose. So big circles in that left hip. And then we'll step the left foot back, turning that foot to the side of the mat. Warrior 2 stance. So right foot points straight ahead, left foot is angled out to the side slightly. Feel free to take a slightly longer stance. And then bending your right knee, gaze over the fingers. As you inhale, straighten the legs and lift the arms up. Exhale, bend your right knee and look over the fingers. Inhale, head neutral, lift the arms up. Exhale, warrior 2, gazing over the hand. Repeat that a few more times. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, warrior 2. Again, inhale, rise up. Exhale, warrior 2. Last one. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, warrior 2, reach out through your fingertips. Press your bent knee towards the little toe, engaging the glutes, and breathe. Focusing at the right middle fingernail. Relax the jaw. Try tearing the mat apart with the feet on one breath, activating the hip flexor of the front leg, the buttock of the back leg. And then keeping that engagement, try squeezing the feet towards each other so you can feel the inner thigh muscles of your back leg activate, glutes of the front leg. And then inhale, straighten the legs, reaching up. Exhale, wiggle your left foot in a little bit closer. Triangle pose. Take the right hand down onto your shin. You can allow the pelvis to move with you, gradually sliding the hand further down towards the ankle. Top arm reaches up and breathe. If you feel any soreness in your shoulder, you can take that top arm behind the back and then release the right ear down towards the shoulder, stretching the neck. On your next exhale, look down, bending the knee. Inhale up to warrior 2. Exhale, lean forward and step to mountain pose. Taking the feet hip width, bend your knees, and play with the weight transfer, leaning left to right again. And as the pelvis goes over that left ankle, pick up the right foot, bend the knee, and make some circles in that right hip joint. Pressing out from the knee, activate the buttock. And then we'll turn the pelvis to the right, step the right foot back, warrior 2 stance. Feel free to go a little bit longer in your warrior and raise the arms. On the next inhale, straighten the legs and straighten the arms to the sky. Exhale, warrior 2, bending your front knee, looking over the left middle finger. Inhale, head neutral, reach up. Exhale, warrior 2. And then continue moving with your breath. We're supporting the spine by engaging around the back of the legs, hamstrings and glutes. We can also engage a little bit around the abdominals, and this can have the effect of lifting the rib cage as we breathe in. Part of the Uddiyana Bandha connection, upward flying energy flow or energy lock. Last one. And then warrior 2 stance. Gazing over your left middle finger, hold the posture. Press your front knee out towards the little toe. And then try tearing the mat apart with the feet for a breath. Keeping that engagement in the left hip, right buttock. Reverse it, squeezing the heels towards each other. If you have one of those slippery mats, you're probably doing that anyway. And with an inhale, lift the arms, straighten the legs, right foot in a little closer. Exhale, take the left hand down along the shin, resting the palm on the shin, and then continue sliding the hand down the leg towards the ankle. Triangle pose. So head can be neutral. Next phase would be looking at the top thumb. Modification, bring the top arm behind the back for a half bind, resting the left ear down to the shoulder, with an emphasis on shoulders away from the ears to stretch the neck. Stay strong in the buttock of the back leg. Next exhale, look down, bend your front knee. Inhale, come up to a warrior two stance. Exhale, step the right foot forward, mountain pose. Now, if you have your yoga blocks, you can bend your knees for a moment and place one block at the front corner of the mat, one at the front right corner, one at the front left, and then we'll meet back in mountain pose. Transferring the weight into that right foot, bend your knees, and as you pick up the left foot, step it back, angle it towards the front left corner of the mat. So it's like a warrior one stance, but notice my feet aren't too wide apart. I'm keeping it pretty tight in. Squeeze the legs towards each other, rotating that left leg in. With an inhale, lift the arms up. As you exhale, bend the front knee and bend the elbows like cactus branches. Inhale, reaching up, straighten the arms and legs. Exhale, cactus arms, squeezing shoulder blades. And repeat that a few more times. And inhale, reach the arms straight up. Exhale, keep that position, bending your front knee, and hold the posture. Try it with your palms facing each other to emphasize external rotation of the shoulders, and then lift them up as high as you can. Squeeze the heels towards each other. At the same time, try tearing the mat apart with the feet. On your next exhale, hinge forward at the hip. Inhale, come all the way up, keeping the knee bent. 2 more times. Exhale, hinging. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hinging. And then take the hands down to the yoga blocks. Feel free to bring those blocks underneath your shoulders. If you don't have blocks, you could have your hands on a chair in front of you as an option. Inhale, lift the heart. Try to straighten your front leg as much as you can comfortably. Exhale, fold over that right leg. Inhale, lift the heart up. Repeat that a few more times. Exhale, folding. Front of the thigh is strong. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold forward. And we'll pause at a sweet spot. So maybe you're bowing towards your shin. If the back hurts, you might emphasize neutral spine instead, where the heart is lifted. And using the blocks underneath the hands has a few effects. It makes your arms longer, but it also takes some of the weight off of the right leg. So if you're interested in working the strength of the right leg more, try a really soft touch on the fingertips. Keep pulling back through your right hip. And with the hands on blocks, inhale, lift the heart halfway. Exhale, bend your right knee over the ankle. Strong in the buttock, raise the arms. Inhale, warrior one. And then exhale, step to the front in mountain pose. Bending the knees, put the weight in the left foot, Lifting that right leg up, we'll step the right foot back, warrior one. Inhale, lift the arms, straight legs. Exhale, bend the front knee and bend the elbows, opening the chest up. Inhale, lift the arms. And repeat. Exhale, bending the arms. To work with the pelvis position, think of squeezing your left foot towards the back of the mat, drawing back with the left hip. Continue to move with your breath. Last one. Inhale, straight arms. Exhale, keep that position, bend the front knee, holding warrior one, 5 breath. Spreading left toes, externally rotating the shoulders, the palms could face each other. And see if you can find some engagement in that right buttock. It's really easy to lose it. We can use that engagement to press the right hip forward, helping the left hip draw back. One more breath. Staying strong in the core and glute. Exhale, hinge forward 3 times. Inhale, come up, keeping that front knee bent. Exhale, hinging. Inhale, come up. And last one, exhale, hinging. Take your hands down to the yoga blocks. Feel free to step a little closer with the back foot. Inhale, slowly straighten the front leg as much as you can comfortably. Quadriceps contracting. Exhale, fold over the leg. Again, inhale, lift the heart, and then look up. Exhale, folding over the leg. And last one. Inhale, rise up. Feel free to stay there, neutral spine. Option 2, exhale, folding as much as you can from the hip, with the option of also rounding the spine near the end of the movement. Pause at a sweet spot. And try to feel you're using all parts of that left foot, from the little toe mound to the big toe mound, the ball of the foot, center of the heel. Squeezing the legs towards each other. If you like more of a challenge, put a lighter and lighter touch through the fingers. Then taking the hands to the blocks, exhale, bend your front knee. Rise up to warrior one. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, step to the front of the mat. And then you can bend your knees to catch your yoga blocks. We'll open up to the side of the mat, taking the feet 4 to 5 feet apart. Bend your knees a bit to take the hands to the floor, about shoulder width apart. As you inhale, lift and spread your toes. Engage the front of your thighs. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, push off the fingers, lifting the heart, and then the chin. Exhale, folding as much as you can comfortably. Again, inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold once more. Inhale, halfway up using the yoga blocks or the fingertips. We're going to hold this halfway up position. 5 breath here. So as the heart lifts, engage the front of the thighs. Try to straighten your legs while keeping the heart lifted. You may have to push off the blocks more. And think of creating space between the hip bones and the rib cage. If you are really flexible, you'll have to do the opposite, dropping the tailbone. And then next, exhale, explore bending the elbows. So this might be a smaller movement. If you're a bit looser, you can take the hands to the floor with the option of aiming the crown of the head down. If you wanted to do an inversion, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we'll just enjoy this forward folding posture. Spreading the toes, press through the ball of the foot and the little toe. Outer edge of the foot and the inner edge together. And then see how it feels to lift only the big toes up. So there's an activation to lift the inner arch of the foot. On your next inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, pause there, walking the feet in slightly. Bend your knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale. This next one, you may want to use a yoga strap, if you can still find it. Where is it? There we are. So if you're using the strap, it's a really great tool to open your shoulders. You would take it a little bit wider than shoulder width, and then bring the strap behind you. Squeezing your shoulder blades, try to pull the strap apart and lift it off of your spine. On your next exhale, fold forward from the hip, bending the knees a little bit. If you're really flexible, straight legs. And then work the squeeze between the shoulder blades. One of the great things about this pose is that gravity is helping you open up the chest. On your next exhale, let go of the strap. You can set it aside and bring your hands to the floor in front of you. Inhale, lift the heart halfway. Feel free to use the yoga blocks. Exhale, turn the feet away from each other. And then bend into your left leg. You could stop at knee over the ankle. Lift the ball of your right foot, and then switch. Bend the right leg, and lift the ball of the left foot, turning the hip out a bit. And then continue exploring. If you're a bit looser, you might go into more knee flexion, allowing the body to sit lower. Main thing is that your knee feels good as that leg bears weight. Next time we bend the right leg, we'll pause there. So it could be more upright, knee over the ankle like this, with the option of lifting the ball of the foot, flexing toe to shin. If you're a bit looser, you might be fully squatting, pressing your right arm against the inside of the leg, with the left arm up to the sky, or binding behind the back. So if you're not in this variation, that's fine. Better to focus on the positioning of your left leg. Think of turning the left chest open. And then come across center, bend the left leg like a squat. Lift the ball of the right foot so you can stay on the blocks as an option. Maybe get a little bit lower with the option of binding as you get lower to the floor. Turning the right chest open. And then come back to center using the blocks. We're going to turn that right foot out and then lower the left knee to the floor. You could fold the edge of the mat over, just like a lunging position. If you need more padding, really great trick is using a folded up blanket. I like to use pillows from the couch. And so your knee is padded. If the toes are tucked under like a toe squat, that's also going to give a bit more support to the knee joint. And then staying on the yoga blocks, feel free to wiggle your right foot a little more forward. As you inhale, explore bending your front knee like a squat. As you exhale, slowly straighten the leg and then sit towards the back heel. Inhale, bending the front knee. And then exhale, half split, slowly sitting back, flexing right toes to shin. Continue exploring this movement. Camera one. I'm flexing toes to shin to get more into the calf, but it's totally fine to point the foot instead, rooting the heel into the earth. And then we'll lean back, straightening the leg as much as you can comfortably. So you might be keeping more of a lift in the heart. If you're a bit looser, you might slide the blocks further forward and aim your left ribs towards your right knee, slightly externally rotating that right hip joint. On your next inhale, bend the front knee. Exhale, slide the blocks back by your hips. Camera two. And then with an inhale, reverse the bend of your front knee a little bit so the pelvis is moving back just above that left knee. Bring the left arm up. Use your free hand to push back on the upper arm bone. Then you could stay here. Engaging the left buttock, press the left hip forward. Meanwhile, pull back through the right hip by dragging the heel back. Option 2, lean over to the right, side bending. But keep on lifting up through that left arm. You might feel a nice stretch in the front of the hip, and it might be continuing all the way up through the left armpit, the lat. If you don't feel much of a stretch in the hip, it may be more beneficial for you to walk your right foot further forward, taking your pelvis with it, and then try looking at your navel, tensioning the core, lifting the pubic bone. This has the effect of going into the pelvis. It's a little bit more accessible to get that action in the body of posterior tilt. And whichever variation you're in, we'll straighten the leg and look up. Spread the arms like wings. On an exhale, twist, taking your left hand to the floor underneath your shoulder, or take your left hand to a yoga block. Right arm up to the sky. Turning the right chest open. Squeezing the shoulder blade to middle back. On your next exhale, lower the right hand, bend the knee. And then we'll take the legs back. You can go into table position or go into full downward dog, your choice. Inhale, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, lower knees and then pelvis. Inhale, Cobra pose. Exhale, from the core, downward facing dog or table. And then step the left foot forward behind the hand. Fold the right edge of the mat over to pad the knee or use a pillow. Taking the yoga blocks to their highest heights, explore wiggling the left foot a little bit further forward. On the inhale, bend the knee. On the exhale, slowly straighten the leg and then sit back. And continue exploring. Camera 2. Oh, camera 1. There it is. So as I'm bending the front knee, I'm imagining that leg is just like a squat. So instead of caving in, I'm trying to press it out towards the little toe. Slight external rotation. And next time that left leg straightens, think of drawing the left thigh bone back into the hip socket. You can stay there or slide the blocks forward if you're a little bit looser, aiming your right ribs towards your left knee. Try flexing toes to shin to get into the calf stretch of that left leg. And then inhaling, come back to the lunging position. You can slide the blocks back just underneath your hips. And then from the squatting position, reverse the bend of the knee, lifting the pubic bone and dropping the tail in the back. Camera 2. Take the right arm up on the inhale, bending the elbow. Use your other hand to push back on the arm bone. Exhaling, option to side bend to the left. You might explore bending your knee more or less to get the recruitment. And breathe. And if this simply isn't working for you, try taking your hands to the yoga blocks. And then look to your navel, lifting the pubic bone, really engage the core. So think of the tail really dropping down. This makes it a lot easier to get the pelvis in a position that lengthens the hip flexors. And eventually the idea is to be able to keep that sensation as the heart lifts and the arms lift. So keep working with the buttocks, pressing the right hip forward, pulling the left hip back. Should be a pretty strong, active posture, even though it looks easy. And then slowly straighten your front leg. Straighten the arms out to the sides, taking a breath in. Exhale, twist to your left, and take the right hand to the yoga block or the floor. Top arm reaching up to the sky. Next exhale, look down, bend your front knee, walk your legs back to table or downward dog. Inhale, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, lower to the floor. One last back bend on the belly. So you have some options. You could be interlacing the fingers behind the back or using a strap between the hands. Bend your knees with the heels together, and then try to lift your knees up as you squeeze the shoulder blades to open the chest. Last option is full bow, exhaling to catch the outsides of both ankles. Imagine that both of your legs are the back leg of a lunging position. So we attempt to straighten the legs, kicking against the hands while activating the glutes. You can also imagine squeezing a yoga block in between the thighs, activating the inner thighs. Exhale, releasing down. Hands under the shoulders. Sit back into puppy stretch. Walking the hands forward, strong in the core. Bowing the head towards the ground. This pose could be as passive or active as you wish. Arms could be relaxing on the floor, or you can be lifting them away from the ground strongly. Inhale, slowly come on up. Bring your legs out in front. And with straight legs, exhale to lay down onto your back. Bending the knees, place the soles of the feet on the floor. Rest the hands on the floor next to the feet. Soften the belly. On a long inhale, lift the arms over the head towards the back of the mat, resisting gravity. On the exhale, reverse the movement, returning the hands to the earth next to the feet. Again, inhale, lift the arms, slowly reaching back. Exhale, slowly return the hands next to the feet. And do a few more vinyasas, slowly moving with your breath. Next time the arms reach back, keep that position on the exhale. Lift the hips up to bridge pose. Inhale, slowly bring your arms down. Exhale, lower through the vertebra, scooping the tail forward. Inhale to lift the arms, resist gravity. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale, lower the arms. Exhale, lower the vertebra. Last one, moving with your breath. And then as you come down onto your back, bring the arms out like wings. Take the feet a little bit wider and windshield wiper the legs side to side, letting the hips go in one direction and then the other. Keep the feet about as wide as the mat, moving off the edges of the feet. And then bring the right leg up to the sky and take a yoga strap around the right foot. So you might be holding both ends of the strap loosely with your right hand to try and get the right leg straight. If you have a loop on your strap, you could simply loop that around the ball of your foot. Once the leg is straight, start to pull back a little bit. And then make some big circles in the right hip, going way off to the right, and then towards the center. You can even cross the midline if that feels comfortable for your hip joint. Imagine drawing big circles, big counterclockwise circles on the sky. And then bring that leg towards the left. Hold the strap with the left hand and move into a spinal twist on your back. So as you gently pull back on the strap with the left hand, you can create a little adjustment, taking the right hand to the hip joint. Roll the right thigh laterally, so the thigh is rolling away from the belly, potentially creating more of a stretch on the outside of the hip, as well as the lower back. Camera 1. So the hand will go just in that hip crease to roll the thigh outwards, slightly out of its full range of motion. And then before you come out of it, bend your knee, let go of the stretch, and then come back to the center, and we'll take the strap around the left foot. So you can straighten that left leg up. Camera 2. And then start to make some big circles in your left leg. Gentle effort is enough. Pull out to the left, and then come across the center. Feel free to change directions, going clockwise. And then take the strap with the right hand, setting up for your spinal twist. Bring the leg over to the right side. And you don't have to go all the way to the floor. I'm physically unable to because my couch is in the way. But that can actually be a good thing. It prevents you from going all the way, and then you can give yourself that really nice adjustment of pushing the left thigh bone away from the belly while continuing to pull back on the strap, creating a lot of space around that left hip joint. Take some deep, slow breath through the nose. Try to make the exhales a little bit longer. And then letting go of the effort, relax the pull on the strap, bend the knee, and come back to the center. The last pose we do involves using a yoga block, supported bridge pose. So you could bend your knees just like a normal bridge, and then you put a yoga block underneath your sacrum. So that's the area at the top of the buttock region, just below the pant line. I'm actually not even wearing high-waisted pants, and it's still below the pant line. So if you do have high-waisted pants, you will have to go quite far down. Just catching the top of the buttocks region, support horizontally. Initially, it helps to think of scooping the tailbone forward, tensing a little bit around the core and buttocks. And then see if you can straighten the legs out towards the corners of your mat, taking the feet as wide as the mat. You may have to play with the position a little bit till it feels comfortable. So maybe you're using a gentle contraction of the abs to create length in the low back. If you get a position just right for your body, you might be able to let go of the abdominals and feel quite comfortable. Take a few more breaths here. And see if you can breathe into the belly. This pose has similar benefits to shoulder stand. Since the head is below the heart, it's considered an inversion.
These can be deeply calming and grounding poses. Now, with the sacrum still supported, bend both of your knees. As if you're doing a bridge pose. Keep your sacrum on the block, and then bring your right knee towards your right shoulder. Try holding that leg. So maybe you're holding the back of the thigh. If you can reach the shin, hold the shin, and draw your knee out towards the right shoulder. Give it a big squeeze. Roll your shoulders into the floor. Contract and shorten the right side of the spine, and then create length up the left side as you straighten the left leg out, bringing the heel to the front left corner of the mat. Try to stay strong in the left buttock as well as the quadriceps to really firmly straighten that leg. And you might feel a really nice psoas stretch going all the way up the left side of the body, right through the front of the hip. A few more deep breaths. Try letting the weight fall through the right shoulder, the upper trap between the shoulder and the neck. And then we'll switch sides, bend the knees. Start with the right foot on the floor, keeping the knee bent. Hug the left knee to the left shoulder. And then try straightening the right leg out, slightly turning the hip outwards. Bring that right foot towards the front right corner of the mat. And then squeeze on the left leg, either holding near the knee and shin or holding the back of the leg, whatever you can reach. Those of us with really long arms might have certain advantages in this pose. And then play with shortening the left side of the spine to help create more length through the right side, which can really help with lengthening the psoas. The psoas is the only muscle attaching the thigh bone towards the back of the spine, around the lower back region, the lumbar, and the uppermost of the sacral vertebra. So when it's really tight or underused, it can be tight and weak from too much sitting. It pulls the lower back into a painful back bend. So lengthening the psoas is a big part of these practices and is usually the intended benefit of any kind of lunging position. Using the glutes and the abdominals is a big piece of the puzzle. So let's take one more slow breath there. Exhale, letting go. Bend the knees, place the feet on the floor, and then remove the yoga block. Slowly lower your spine to the floor and hug the knees in towards your shoulders. And then from there we'll go into resting pose, Savasana. Stretching the feet to the corners of the mat. Relax your arms by your sides. Take a moment to tuck your shoulders away from your ears and scoop the tailbone towards your heels, lengthening the low back. And thank you so much for practicing with us this morning. I'll leave you to continue enjoying Savasana on your own. Thank you so much for practicing, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day.